All right, let's get into it. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for being here. Put your hands together for these guys making the trip. Let's see, who here knows Jack, Gabe, Joey, and Chris?
Yeah.
All right, it's gonna be all of you after this, all right? And there's gonna be a lot of energy. So when I was planning and designing the agenda for today, a big thing that people kept telling me was energy, right? Like energy is gonna be vital. Because it's a long day, right? There's a lot of information that's gonna be shared. And so energy is important. And so I immediately thought to put these guys right here, right after Daniel's keynote, which was very energizing, by the way, to be the first panel of the day, to really pump up the room, get us hyped, and share with us your fitness journey. So if we could just go one by one, starting with Jack, if you could just share a quick intro of these guys, maybe a little bit about who you are and how you got into fitness.
Yeah, absolutely. So myself, growing up, I was probably the shyest kid alive. Right? Gabe can account for this. Absolutely. So doing this alone, like this is crazy being up on stage right now. And so fitness for me, like I got into it through football, and it unlocked confidence for me. So I could be a brand new person, I could speak to strangers, etc., etc. And so I want to give that to other people, confidence, self-belief, so they can go after whatever goal that they want.
Yeah, I'm Chris. I actually started my fitness journey playing basketball in college. Started down the classic GNC route, buying pre-workouts and all this kind of stuff. But I got in great shape, but also was struggling with a lot of stomach issues and things like that, which turned into a lot of anxiety, depression, and stuff like that. And over time, when I took more of a holistic route to health and wellness, and I was able to clear a lot of this stuff up, and that's what really made me want to help other people. So now I do personalized meal plans, nutrition coaching, and have a couple cookbooks as well.
Yeah, so how I got into this was pretty organic. When I was a young child, 7 to 8 years old, I witnessed my parents go through this traumatic experience in 08, 09-ish, where the housing market crashes. My dad owned a few businesses, he had a pretty good job too. My parents were into real estate, and they lose everything. And so this awakened me to how important it is to be financially secure at a very young age. So at a very young age, I'm thinking millionaire, 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 millionaire. Life goes on. My parents get back on their feet money-wise, but then my dad loses everything health-wise. And so there's my dad, the man who built businesses, who's bringing home the bacon with his job, yet he's on his deathbed. And when I saw him on his deathbed, the multiple times that this didn't happen, I started to realize that wealth is nothing without health. Because the money he was making couldn't save him. The money he was making did not bring me, my brothers, or his wife any extra comfort. So that inspired me to get into business, and specifically get into business in a way that helps people get healthy.
Wow, that's powerful to follow up. I just played sports growing up. Damn, bro. Yeah, my name's Joey, you guys. I got into fitness. I was playing soccer at a high level growing up, and that's actually really how I got into it. I got into it right before high school, like 13 or 14. Got into weights pretty seriously. Ended up playing in college for a few years, and then ended up being a strength and conditioning coach for the team that I played with. I had a similar situation, not as traumatic as that, but my parents went through a divorce, and the first thing that happened for my dad after that was losing the weight. So that was really what inspired me to get into the business side of fitness and coaching and helping people go through that, because I saw my dad go through it. Right, it's the number one thing that he attributes to that, because it's all a downslide. Right, he let his health go, relationship went, and ultimately he found himself at rock bottom. And he was actually, it's funny, sometimes I still use his transformation in content, because he was my first piece of social proof. I hope that you know that. And so he was my inspiration for that. But I'm somebody I've always been into it because of sports, and there's never been a period of my life where I wasn't playing some kind of sport, and that's always been my addition to it as well, is getting in there for the strength purposes, the health, the functionality, and then my dad's situation obviously pushed me to take it to helping others with their own journey.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you guys. So I would consider all of you to be running passion businesses, right? Which is the ultimate goal for a lot of people in this room, right? This is going back to designing your dream lifestyle, right? Being in rooms like this, doing what you really enjoy and are passionate about. So if you can recall, go back to when you first realized that you can have business success while doing something like fitness, something that you're passionate about and love doing.
Yeah, so for us, we didn't realize it for a while. Because first 16 months, we made $0 profit. All right, we sucked at business. We were gym rats, we were in the gym every day, but our business sucked. So we didn't realize it until 16 months in. We hired some mentors, and we made our first dollar online. Saw the Stripe invoice came in, and we're like, holy shit, I can't.
I think Dan will.
But yeah, that was the moment. First Stripe invoice hit, and then we're like, okay, we can do this. We can do something that we love and actually scale it.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that, Jack. I think we all have that moment. Because I know there's some guys here some of you guys are just murdering it. And I've talked to a few guys who are like, dude, I saw my first client this week, man. Like, this is crazy. This is possible. And that was the same thing for us. But I think more important than figuring out how do I make money in something I'm passionate about, because that's like the classic line you hear from so many guys, which is like, don't follow your passion, don't follow your passion. And that's absolutely true, but I do think that it's a limiting belief that you can't make money in something you're passionate about. And at the end of the day, no matter what route we all choose, whether we're passionate about fitness or you're passionate, I don't know how many guys who do cold email truly wake up and just get psyched about writing emails, right? But if you do enjoy the task, then if you become good enough at business by learning from guys like all of you here, then you can make money doing the task. Like, it doesn't really matter. The thing that backs up, that fuels the passion is your skill at business, your ability to market, your ability to sell, your ability to fulfill. Okay, so I never really saw that as like a limiting factor, right? I always saw this is what I enjoy, this is my skill set in which I can help people. Now let's get really fucking good at making money, and we'll be successful.
You guys have done that.
And for me, I was working like a 9 to 5 in an office, and I was doing all this health stuff at home, helping people around me, and that's really what I love to do. But I was, stuck in the rat race of the 9 to 5 and all that, and I was like, why am I, not capitalizing off this, making money off this? And I saw these people making money on Twitter, and I was like, I'm just gonna start, posting what I do. I actually started down the affiliate marketing route, and I got this guy. I made $17 off him. Got to sign up for an engagement group, so that's my first $17 online. I had like 200 followers, and here we are talking on stage. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, dude. I have a similar route where I've been coaching people for over 4 years now, and pretty quickly I realized nobody cares how much I know about a deadlift form or a tricep extension. You gotta learn how to market and sell. So I learned that pretty quickly as a trainer, making $12 a session. And I was like, this fucking sucks. Like, I want to make money. And so I had a similar route to Jack and Gabe. For those of you guys that don't know, Jack, Gabe, and I are business partners. Jack mentored me in business, and I had a similar situation where my first 8 months on Twitter doing this whole thing, it was nothing. Zero. And I was fortunate enough to have, a lot of you guys know him, Alex from Postify, Alex Hyden. I know a lot of you guys know him. Great mentor of mine, great friend. He helped me out the whole way. And once I made the first dollar, I tweet about it every now and then. My first client paid me like $500 for 12 weeks, and I thought I won the lottery, right? I was like, holy shit, somebody just gave me $500. Like, that's crazy. And once I realized that, obviously I could make an impact with fitness, but I could also do it in a way that makes good money. That's what I was in. And it's kind of developed over the past few years for me, turning into my passion now is running the business, right? Like, it started as a passion. It's like I can impact these people. Now my biggest passion is actually running the business and doing that side of things. And it just so happens that my passion project is what the fulfillment is, right? So it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, that's huge, guys. And one thing I would say as a follow-up is you guys are in an industry that is pretty massive, right? Like, competitors are everywhere. So how have you used marketing and business know-how to differentiate and stand out? Because you guys have had a lot of success online, especially in the Twitter space, which is a hard thing to do in fitness, from my perspective at least.
Yeah, so I would say a few things here. Number one is proof. All right. You can look at every single marketer has the claims. Everyone can do that. Every single business in the world makes the claims. You have the proof, though, the social proof. We have testimonials, case studies on case studies. So it's undeniable. And then from there, actually understanding your avatar, your customer. We understand them on a deep level. Okay, they've tried thousands of things before. Keto, carnivore, diets, Weight Watchers, P90X, and they do it for a little bit, and then they fall off. So understanding them on a deep, deep level, this allows us to speak to them like no one else does. No one else understands them like we do. And so we can craft a beautiful offer just for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Second that, Jack. If in case any of you guys don't know, Jack, he's actually the head of all of our marketing, and I run the sales for our company. And I think mirroring what Jack said and seeing how the people come onto the sales calls and come into the sales process and realizing like what's the missing piece, what gets them from fan/follower to like handing us and reading out their debit card and saying, let me pay you. And I think at least on my side, the biggest lever that I have found that differentiates our ability to sell what could be viewed as a commodity, because like you said, there's literally hundreds of people who are the best fitness coach online. And by the way, there are fitness coaches who make way less money than us, who are way more jacked than us. There are fitness coaches who make way less money than us, who know way more about fitness than us. And what differentiates us on the sales is the connection, the sauce, as Mr. Logan over here has coined that term. Because if you think about it, like, think about somebody like Logan, right? You could probably come up with any offer in multiple different, areas of expertise that you have. Like you can coach somebody on growing their social media. You can coach somebody in fitness. You can coach somebody in developing the sauce and confidence. And people would buy from you. And that's because of the level of connection they have to you, right? And so
Taking credit cards after this.
yeah, exactly. But I mean, he's the proof of the pudding of what the sauce allows you to do. You can sell anything. And so when you're able to connect with somebody, especially on a sales call, or throughout the sales process, then especially like Daniel was talking about, when you're at a high level of market complexity, they will buy from you simply because they like you. Like there have been sales calls that I've taken and I've recorded for my team where people are on tears on the phone, in tears on the phone. There's been sales calls where people ask to buy before they know the offer. Think about how high level of connection you have with somebody to the point where they're asking to buy from you before they know the offer. And then they give you their credit card and they're like, cool, what do I get? So the sauce, the connection has been one of the things that I've used to differentiate ourselves.
Yeah, and I do most of the back end stuff for us as well. And so I'm working hands-on with all the clients for the most part. And it translates there as well because they trust us. So we tell them to do something, they're gonna fucking do it because they trust us, right? And then they get the results. They get exactly what they paid for and more. They keep coming back and they tell their friends. So that connection bleeds through every department of the business for us.
And for me, it's just making it fun for people too, because people think of nutrition and healthy eating and they think of it as a drag. And if you follow me, I'm always posting pictures of like pretty looking food and all that. So people see that and they go, I could, eat this way, enjoy it and still, be healthy, fix my health issues. So just that's kind of a way I differentiate myself as well, just making it a little more fun for people.
Yeah, Chris, like the pictures that you post on Twitter are unbelievable. Like I'm hungry just like thinking about some of the pictures I've seen.
I'll cater the next event next year.
Yeah. I don't know if we can afford it, but dude, yeah, that's really interesting to hear perspectives from each of you. And I guess a question I would have, like for Chris specifically, real quick. So like you do the cooking aspect of it, and obviously you're in the gym as well. Yep. But that's like your specialty, right? So like, what would you say to a busy entrepreneur that is, on calls, on sales meetings, talking to clients, posting threads on Twitter? Like, where do you find the time to meal prep or cook, and how do you kind of reframe their mindset about cooking?
I would say the biggest thing is just investing an hour or two on the weekends and prepping some food. Not only will you have healthy food ready for the week, but it takes the stress out of it as well. When you are, an entrepreneur, you're doing business, you already have a ton of stress on your plate to begin with. So the last thing you need is stressing each day to scramble up a healthy meal that's going to get you to your goals during the week when you already have all of that to take care of. So if you can take an hour or two and, prep some food, it's such a relief during the week where you have that ready, and you can focus on your business and just grab something out of the fridge or the freezer and still eat a healthy, enjoyable meal. So that's something I work with all of my clients, is just spending, it could even be an hour on a Sunday and, just prepping some protein and some healthy food, and you're good to go for the week, and you could focus on what you do best in business.
That's awesome, man. Quick question for Jack and Gabe and Joey is, like, what you guys do really well is working together, right? And your brand is of course, Jack is like the head of marketing, as Gabe pointed out, but like your brand, like with the American flag backgrounds and everything on Twitter, like you guys, I just see you all as one, like a group. And so talk about like the importance of, I guess, working with friends, but also just like having a team to scale.
Team is huge. Team gives you the ability to move with speed. All right. If you're by yourself, you're one man. You only have so much time. You got 8, 12 hours in a day if you're putting it to the max, which that's insane. With a team, we have almost 10, 12 employees now, I don't know, but we can move 3, 5, 10 times quicker. One project can get done in a day compared to a week because we have a team. It also gives us focus. With focus, think about McDonald's. Why did they scale so much? They have specialization. They got the burger flipper, cashier, et cetera, et cetera. And so they have specialization. So everyone gets better at their job as well. So you have focus, you have way more speed, so the team just gives you that capability. And it also becomes a movement. So in your branding, in your company, people start to see, oh, this is real. There's multiple people involved. It's another form of social proof in itself. So that's what I think a team does for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I can absolutely attest to that, because the way that me as an owner of the company, the way that I make sure my marketing is on point, and the way that I make sure my fulfillment is on point is simply by hopping on a quick Zoom chat after the gym and asking Jack a few questions and asking Joey a few questions. And now my marketing is completely mastered. My fulfillment's completely mastered. Look how easy my life is. I get to wake up every single day, and after brushing my teeth and weighing myself and taking care of the bone broth and the coffee, whatever it is, and soaking up the sun, sales, print money, that's it. And so you get so good at your given task, at your force multiplier, so much quicker than anybody else. It doesn't matter if there's another fitness coach who's as driven, as motivated, as intelligent as me, because I can do everything 3 times faster. So unless you can find 2 other fine gentlemen like these, good luck. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and it's funny because when we went through our indoctrination period, as Daniel says, it's we were all doing lead gen, sales, and fulfillment for our own people. So we had 3 separate channels. Like Jack had his clients, Gabe had his clients, I had mine, and we were all doing our own individual lead gen, sales, and fulfillment. And it was awful. It sucked. It was terrible. And we realized it was just decision fatigue. We only have so much focus, and we all just coined in on what we're each individually best at. And that frees up time to do stuff like we're talking about today, to actually stay fit as an entrepreneur, because I'm not, bashing my head into my computer for 12 hours doing lead gen, sales, and fulfillment. So it allowed us to have that focus and actually do what we're best at. And now we're all getting so good at our individual skill sets that we complement each other perfectly.
Yeah, it's sick. That's the same way we have it set up with Client Ascension, as you saw in Daniel's presentation. And the most successful businesses I've seen in the space, they have a competitive advantage, that is their team, right? And their teams have the individual focuses in the business that they just master and just get so good at. Question again for Chris specifically, and you guys might also have some insights on this, but it's really common for people in the space to get started with a low ticket funnel, right? Like a cookbook for you, correct? And Daniel, same way with cold email mastery. So now how does one have success with a low ticket funnel? Or I guess what's the thought process behind that to then transition into a high ticket model, like coaching and one-on-one, and is that the mindset or the goal?
It's kind of the goal. I mean, I started with the low ticket offer, which is the cookbook, and people could start eating the way I do and cooking the way I do, and that kind of opens up their brain that I can eat like this and really still conquer my fitness or health goals. So when they start on the low ticket offer and they start eating some of these meals here and there, it kind of just flips a switch in their brain where they can really take this to another level, still enjoy these things, but then really just dial in the other things, and that leads them to the higher ticket offers, which is the meal plan and the coaching. So I think just starting with the low ticket offer and the cookbooks, it just makes them aware, and it makes them like, okay, I could do this, I enjoy this stuff, and that makes them want to take it to the next level.
Yeah, it's great. Another question I have, I got like one or two more questions. What the next question I have is like, what would you say is like is there ever a piece of information that's like really common in your space, cooking, fitness, that when you see it, it like irks you? Like that's like a common belief that you are against or that you don't believe in. And Joey's ready to go, so let's hear it.
Vegan, keto. That's it. I see him every time. Every time I see him, I'm like, I don't know about all that. Because I've seen it, right? Like, we've seen it. The people that come through our program, we work with hundreds of people, and it's like the number one pain point is any kind of a crash diet or fatty type diet where long-term sustainable, it's not sustainable for the vast majority of people. Now, some people, don't get me wrong, they can pull it off. Some people can, but 95% can't. And so those are the stuff, any kind of crash dieting, that's the one that I always see, and I'm like, no, man, no, that's not the one. And I know probably everybody up here would agree with me as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I fully agree with you. I think kind of understanding this on the sales side, I'm constantly thinking about what are the things these people have tried before, and how do I kill those as alternatives to get them to obviously use our method and buy our product. And time and time again, I hear things like, oh, I've tried keto, or I tried this diet. Or if they haven't tried the diets, they come to me with this problem that they perceive, which is like, Gabe, I lack motivation, man, or I lack discipline. And I'm talking to this like 27-year-old entrepreneur who owns 3 businesses and like makes millions of dollars a year. And I'm like, you lack discipline? Really? Like, you're richer than me, dude. I don't know if it actually is the fact that you lack discipline. You've showed me in your life that you lack discipline. And so many people think that you need to become some like robot or some psychopath to have like some bicep like show out of your sleeve. And you don't. You don't need this insane level of discipline. You don't need this insane level of motivation. You don't need to be a robot. You don't need to be a health freak. All you need to do is build it into your daily habits. And so I paint this picture where people think they're going to join our program and they think they're going to become some disciplined health freak. And I ask them if they think that, when I walk in through those doors and I walk past like the croissants and whatever's over there and the cookies, right?
Come on.
Right. But ask yourself this. Did any of you guys see me walk past those croissants and cookies this morning and just like get into the zone and get hyper disciplined and just be like, oh, you know what?
I saw it.
Those croissants, they got nothing on me. Like, it didn't require any discipline to walk past the cookies and not like be elbow deep in cookies and crumbs, right? And so the pieces of information that irked me are this idea that you need to be some hyper disciplined health freak, robotic person who literally cannot enjoy your life. And I think that's the point of getting in shape in the first place. That's the point of making money in the first place, isn't it? What's the use if you're a rich nerd? You can't even enjoy the money that you spend. No, you want to be able to take that money and take that body and go on the date with the beautiful blonde or the redhead or whatever your thing is, or the brunette for some of you guys. But what's the point if you can't enjoy your life? You're not. I hate when people say that you need to be some robotic, disciplined health.
Yeah, I have a confession. Joey and I ate seed oils last night.
And beer.
And beer. So the robotic thing is right. Like people, the mistake that they make is they go on like 75 hard. They try to go like 100% to zero. Like, oh, I can never eat this food ever again. Or I have to work out 7 days a week, 2 hours. That's how you fail. That's how it's not sustainable. And so a lot of the sauce, all the key is making it sustainable. Can I actually do this for the rest of my life? So that's what irks me.
Yeah, and same thing for me. I mean, almost everyone I work with has gone on these restrictive diets and failed, and that's what I try to do is make it enjoyable for them, like I said earlier. And a lot of people also think that, to be healthy, you need to spend hours in the kitchen cooking food every day, and that's not the case at all. And that's something, going off your question, Andre, and that bothers me too, that they think they need this huge investment of time to be healthy, and that's just not the case at all. Like I said earlier, if you could invest an hour or two on the weekend, you're pretty much set up for success the entire week. So it's just about making it a priority on the weekend, and you're good to go.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say there's like a blanket, this is the one thing you have to do. That's another mistake people make. They're like, what lifting style should I do? Should I power lift? Should I bodybuild? Should I train like an athlete? Like, there's no right answer. It's so subjective. It's person to person. And the answer that I always give clients and anybody I've worked with is you have to figure out what works for you, and you have to do that. Because sustainability is the factor. Right? I'd much rather you find something that works for you. Maybe it's not totally optimal per se, but it works for you and you can stick to it. That's going to give you better results. Right? Play the long game. So that's one of the things as well that I see that always urges me. It's like, what should I do? I'm like, whatever works for you, man. Just do something. Something. Right?
Yeah, I like that. Just do something. So as we wrap it up, like events like this, we've all been to them, right? And a week later, all the information either gets forgotten or lost. So if someone's sitting in the audience and they're listening to this panel and they have their notepad and they're going to write one takeaway or one gem of advice that they absolutely should remember, what would you guys leave them with here today?
Yeah, so myself, I like to think in things in terms of ROI. In business, what's the highest ROI move? In fitness, what is the highest ROI thing that you can do? I would say the number one thing for most people is protein. All right, protein is going to help you build muscle. It's going to keep you more full, so you're not going to overeat nearly as much. And protein also has something called the thermic effect. So when you eat protein compared to carbs or fat, you actually burn more calories just during digestion. So eat more protein.
And going off that too, not only is the protein important, for your health, but all the amino acids in the protein you're going to be eating is extremely important for your brain function as well. So it's not just about the muscle and the weight loss and all that, but as an entrepreneur, your brain's going to be working a lot sharper if you're, intaking the proper amount of protein. So yeah.
Yeah, my last piece of advice would be focus on the force multipliers, and that is absolutely part of my vocab now after your keynote. But it's the idea that there are certain tasks that you can take in your business and in your fitness that will produce 90% of the results. Stop getting obsessed with the minor iterations and focus on the force multipliers, protein being one of them. Lifting, actually stepping foot into the gym being the second one. And if you go to a gym or work out or do any kind of physical activity and you eat protein and you do those two things consistently and you do them to the best of your ability, you're going to be in better shape than 99% of the other entrepreneurs who are focused on the little nitty-gritty micro optimizations and getting nowhere with them. So focus on the force multipliers.
Yeah, I completely agree. I'd say it's like focus on the highest ROI things you can do. Nutrition, it's going to be the protein. Any kind of resistance training that you can do. Like I just said, it doesn't have to be powerlifting or bodybuilding. It could be literally doing push-ups. Literally anything. Any kind of resistance training in a high-protein diet, those are always like the highest ROI things that people can do because it's going to help you build muscle. It's going to improve that body composition. And in my opinion, that's the biggest lever that you can pull for your health overall is getting to a healthy body composition. So the protein, resistance training, build the muscle, move your body.
Good stuff, guys. So last thing, where can everyone in the audience find you, follow you, work with you, learn more about what you're up to?
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter at the Jack Bly, that is BLY, on Twitter. And then our company, Joey and Gabe, is Default King. So you probably see us. We're the American flags in the background. You'll spot us.
I'm on Twitter, Cooking with Chris.
Dude, don't look at his pictures before lunch because you will probably get hungry.
Yeah, at Gabe Pluguez on Twitter, American flag background, default Kings. You can hit one of the auto plugs, hit the DMs. You'll get contacted. That's pretty much it.
Antoine?
Our VAs are anonymous right now. We're not revealing the names. But get into the funnel if you want help, and you'll probably hop on a call with me or one of the guys on our team, and we'll get the situation sorted out so you can be healthy and wealthy.
I'm at Yoacchim on Twitter. Good luck spelling my last name. But if you follow any of these guys, you'll see me. So I'm on Twitter.
Awesome. Let's give it up for these guys.